lands east of Vlandia had long been the home of strife, chaos, and war. Perched above the Western Empire, and flanked by the Sturgeon and Vlandian empires, the former Britannian kingdom was now home to chaos. Armies devastated the land far and wide, villages were burnt, and cities were sacked. Into this land, armies of the Aserai, the Northern Empire, the Vlandians, and now this Sturgeon inundation marched forces larger than anything seen since the Battle of Pendraic. The Vlandians, bereft of cohesion and leadership, fell back to the line of the White Mountains, still holding about half of the possessions they had seized during their recent uprising. Much worse than the strategic situation was the inner dissension and deep animosity that now ran through the noble households as each hated and feared their neighbors, and amicable coordination seemed out of the question. Law and order began to break down as bailiff and seneschal refused to work with each other or the king. Larger and bolder parties of robbers and raiders now began to infest the hills and vales of the north. Only the populated areas had any semblance of order, but even in the cities, thieves' guilds and worse roamed the streets openly. These sanctuaries of law and safety began to be known as the Pale, and anything outside of them was referred to as beyond the Pale. By the winter of 1109, it was not so much the cold that kept people huddled inside their homes at night, but fear and dread. Has that warm fuzzy feeling. I mean, this shit's hard to explain. A bunch of people standing out in the snow with rotting meat, or I guess hopefully it's cold enough that those pig heads are not rotting, but there's just something about it. My wife and I dig a farmer's market. There, I said it. I know some of you young kids are like, what the fuck are you talking about? I think when I was 25, I couldn't stand the idea of a farmer's market. Bill Burr has a hilarious skit talking about farmer's markets where his wife drags him to one and she's looking at a table full of, homemade jewelry made out of twigs and, beads and shit like that. And she's like, isn't this beautiful? And he's like, no, this is a table of shit. This is all shit that fell off a tree. This is shit. This entire table is shit. I just think that's a funny skit, but my wife and I admittedly are farmers market lovers. Well, it's been a little while since we've done this. Let's go ahead and initiate an episode here. Oxhall is under siege. Things look dire here. So welcome back again, friends, to another episode of Tactical Enlightenment. Our YouTube channel is dedicated to all things Bannerlord related. We are dedicated to this Vlandian campaign, and this may be our first episode back in Vlandian territory. We continue on with this multi-faceted campaign here. 4, 5, 6 episodes, you are following the progress of the Baron's sons, and then we will come right back to the Baron. You'll note the year here. It's the end of 1109. Things have gotten dire in the Northwest. I live in the Northwest of the United States, and this is very much like a dark winter day here. Rovalt was recently taken by the Sturgeons. We're down to just Tirby Castle. We lost Callius Castle as well. Just this never-ending onslaught. We've been unable to hold back the tide. That's all there is to it. So Baron York here. Let's see. How do we do this? It's been a little while. He's level 42 here. Episode 42. No, maybe not. We've got this continuing problem here. I don't know what's going on here, friends. I promise you we're not editing these character stats or something like that. We are editing some of the characters for this campaign, but obviously not our own characters. So he is level 42. I don't know why that control thing is down at the bottom. I don't know why it says 0. It must be one of the mods we're using that's throwing things out of whack here. Now we have a perk point, but I don't really have anything to spend it on, right? Our weapon skill here is basically near maxed. And so I was looking at different skills, and I think roguery makes sense, right? We do have a lot of bandits starting to appear in this campaign because of some of the mods we're using. And some of these perks here in the roguery line will let us recruit bandits. Since Baron York is more and more talking to bandits in his in his attempts to take over, you know, it makes sense that we'd add some bandits. Now, the rest of the army is all here, or at least, you know, those that you would probably expect, including this guy. I think this is great. This guy's been with us since the very first week or two of the campaign. 76 years old. I think that's terrific. I love the fact that characters age in Bannerlord. She was renamed. This guy is new and also renamed. This is named and created virtually exactly like a Patreon member wanted. And Marco, you are back, right? We've given you a shield, so you have higher survivability. Sorry you died. Sorry you died, dude. But we're going to continue to move on here with these companions. Some of them, you know, level 29. Eugene Leaf is getting up there. And the army is not terrible, but it's not good either. What's that line in Chernobyl? 3.6. Wow, that's not horrible, but it's not great either, right? We've got squires and a lot of recruits and footmen, and it's been a really hard slog in this Vlandian neck of the woods here. I can't explain the difference, why we're having a harder time in this component of the campaign, but there you have it, right? You guys have seen the battles. Part of it is that we have tons of armies rampaging up here, and that's definitely going on still here. This is the only army besides Baron York's small army, and they're dead, right? They're going to Sargat every single time that they try to siege an Aserai territory. The Aserai hornets come stinging and buzzing, and they get killed. Let's say I'll say they're dead by the third day of spring. Oh, and this is the other reason I started this episode. Look at this beautiful situation here for the Baron. King Aserai, indeed, is trapped inside Oxhall. There's obviously a big force sieging it because they're sieging it to starvation, just pounding the walls with trebuchet like Salahadin in Kingdom of Heaven. And this dipshit, he deserves it, right? This guy's stupid. He took over, of course, when his brother was assassinated. Baron York despises Aserai. And we're not about to rescue him, right? In fact, we're going to go just within eye shot of what's happening here. And this is part of the reason, right? What the fuck is this? Look at the total strength between us and these other kingdoms. This is a very bad board of war when you're at war against three kingdoms that are at 3 or 4 times the size of yours. This is about as grim as it gets. And the worst part is the last time I asked for peace, he said, nah, we're going to have war. So you can have war, Aserai. You can be sieged until you're starving and shaking in the cold Vlandian winters, and Baron York will sit on his horse with a little wry grin here. Now we got some raiding fucks up here. I would love to take Rovault back, but of course it's very possible that we won't get voted Rovault. Of course, Aserai, this guy's hoarding all of the territory. I think he has 2 cities and a castle, while the rest of the nobles have like the same total, but between all the other households. So, just as the cutscene has intimated, there's some real hate and animosity right now going on in this campaign, and I think it's great that there's situations like this where we can roleplay that. Baron York is just going to turn his back on Aserai here. We're not going to help. We may not be able to help here, and I'll remind you guys of a little added difficult rule that we've put in here. Of course, he declared war on the Sturgeons too. It's his own fault. We're not going to enter cities or castles unless the enemy has 2,500 plus troops. I think I've mentioned that a couple times. I'm going to continue to do that for the sake of balance. Everybody knows you can just sneak in with 700 troops and with my siege skills win basically every siege. So we're not going to do that, right? We're going to have some limitations to it. If there's a massive force, 4,000 or 5,000, we may sneak in, but anything less than 2,500, and I'm basically saying the game mechanics won't let me do that, right? Of course they will. That's just a self-inflicted rule, like some of the other rules we're going with, right? Only Vlandian troops here. We're making this campaign extra difficult because that way it's more interesting for you fellas, right? You guys like to see a tactician, a strategic person like myself try to navigate through a brutal campaign. Well, we've got it right here, right? This is about as brutal and as difficult a campaign as I could have come up with. And the best part now is we're on autonomous. And what I mean by that is there's very little sort of outside nudges from the various different control angles that I've been using with this campaign, right? We're not going to trying to think of an example. We're not going to be powering up our lords or the enemy lords. The StrengthenAI mod is on, but the XP for enemy lords is turned way down. So they're getting a little bit of a benefit from it, but mostly the StrengthenAI is giving the enemy troops. Now this is the other dipshit, and this is lovely to see. Ingalther is one of the other rivals of Baron York, and he just got captured like a dipshit. So Baron York is very happy, despite the fact that it's pretty lean pickings here now. Now, I would love to take Revolt anyways. We've got a pretty raggedy army here. We're really just an army of recruits almost. And of course, we're going to acquire as many as we can from these villages, right? You can go up to these villages, former Vlandian villages that are owned by the Sturgeons, and say, give me all your peasants. Oh yeah? No, I want all of them. Give me all of them. And, you know, we've got 900 troops. It's, never mind. They have a huge garrison inside Revolt. The Sturgeons took this pretty recently, but that's pretty untenable. I can't, and now we have a huge army of Sturgeons led by Ragnar, right? You, of course, Ragnar Lothbrok, the legendary mythical character, is kind of like, a little bit like King Arthur and stuff like that. There's some facts to maybe this guy sort of existed under kind of a different name, and then of course there's a lot of myth. Obviously the Viking series on the History Channel really sort of picked up steam behind Ragnar, and of course that guy's obviously themed after him. We continue to have this Norse invasion in this campaign. Now, I don't have a lot of influence, and look at these armies. It's a recruit fest. I'm not eager to add these guys to the army, but at the same time, this fucking guy's coming to siege our home. This is our last location that we own. So we're not giving this shit up. Now it looks like he's chasing us. And I called them being taken down. Looks like the Acerai swarmed them a day or two before. I said, what did I say? Spring 2, Spring 3, something like that. Of course, that Vlandian force just gets melted by a giant Aserai Zerg. And this fucker is chasing us. So we're going to keep running here. I can't fight him in the open with 1,000. We've got a lot of recruits. He's fucking gaining on us. Man, and that was ominous. I was literally going to have to run into the city with my tail behind my legs here. Now, and that's what we're down to in this campaign, right? This is damage control. This is anything goes. And what I mean by that, of course, is within the ground rules. Like if he sieges here, we're not going to sneak in with 1,100 troops. It's just unrealistic. And chose not to go to war with the Acerai. It really seems like the Northern Empire, the Acerai, and the Sturgeons are picking on the Vlandians right now. There's been no peace offers. And of course, Baron York is, no influence. I can't really sway any decisions here. Influence has been a real problem in this campaign, and I don't know why. Usually we get rolling right along. I think it's because we haven't been able to lead big armies consistently to victory. And there he goes. Ragnar's sieging. So we're going to fight, but we're going to recruit some troops. We're going to let him get whittled down a little bit by the garrison, and then we're going to give it our best shot. You really have to take advantage of every little component of the system here. Some guys will say this is cheese, where you just let the garrison whittle down the army and then attack them. But, at this stage of the campaign, we're going to try to do whatever we can to survive. And our wife is in there, right? We're going to protect our wife. I would protect my wife through cheese, right? If that meant shooting an intruder coming into our house with like some gun that shoots for me, I'd be like, yeah, cheat codes, motherfucker, protected my wife. We're going to do so. Now, this guy just died. He thought looters were worth chasing to his death. Come with us, you dipshit. Must be IQ of 60. Lek. When you got a 3-letter name, you're probably stupid. No offense, all the Toms and stuff like that out there. I probably just lost 20 subscribers. We're rolling with it. If you don't know by now, here we make fun of everybody, and I never mean like what I say. I never mean like a person with a 3-letter name is actually stupid. I'm just fucking... It's my endless caffeinated banter here, fellas. All right, well, this is going to have to do. Alarie's doomed. I mean, what a situation we are in, right? There's another castle down here. Who knows who that is? It's just nonstop. It doesn't say who it is. Oh, the Sturgeons do want peace, so we could have peace by clicking that banner. Well, assuming the council votes for it. But we're not going to do that right now. We're going to have battle for this episode. There are obviously times of this campaign where you play a little bit. People say, "Hey, do you play differently when you're streaming?" Yeah, a little bit, right? You know, I want to entertain. We're not going to just monologue here for 40 minutes while we wander around chasing brigands down. We're going to have some battle here in this campaign. Let this guy get dwindled down a little bit more. Try to fight here before it's dark. And look at that shit. Even though we outnumber him, they're favorite on the power bar. So yikes, right? They're going to have Varangians. Look at Ragnar with his fucking badass beard. And the other character, I guess, was someone said he was a skald. A skald, I think, is kind of like a minstrel. You know, someone who maybe they would do war hymns or something like that. Someone recommended that from our Patreon channel. Of course, if you want to see your name on a nemesis, you want me to make a nemesis after you or a companion after you, join our Patreon. Let me know some details. And you too can get captured by the Sturgeons in this battle. Or maybe you'll be part of the ones that capture Baron York. You know, that's how it's looking at this stage. All right, we're really getting down to it here. This is a must-win battle. Haven't said that a lot in this campaign, but we obviously have to win here. Our wife is in this castle. Baron York is trying to get laid. He's riding to her rescue. And this is obviously not a battle we can afford to lose, right? The castle will fall. The wife will be captured. We've got a lot of food and stored goods and really nice equipment inside Tirby. So it's kind of like our Alamo here. We're not giving this fucker up without incredible amounts of bloodshed. Now, Marco, you're going to be in charge of that first division, but you guys got no skills yet, but give him some time. He'll be skilled up. We're going to be fighting a lot, right? You know that. With all these different mods. The one thing you can be sure of in this campaign is lots and lots of battle. Now, sorry for this, we got all these little characters. Yeah, I want to make sure most of these guys are optimized. This could be the kind of battle we win with 50 troops left at the end, and I don't want to have a bunch of archers standing behind horses here in formation. So, let's look at formations here now. I've got a little ridge here. Nice spot elevated for our crossbow on the left. I could use this rock. I like this because it protects them from archers. As they get attacked, you drag them behind that rock, and it not only exposes the enemy, but it protects your troops from the archers. So we'll probably do shield shock in the 4th division on this side here. Let's give them all shields, that way they can charge. And 2nd and 3rd division, I got to take a look at what the troops look like, but the 2nd and 3rd should be pretty good combination, right? A shield and shock, heavy cavalry led by Baron York with a bunch of shock troops. On the right over here, we'll have the 6th division. He's a weaker crossbow, and then the 7th. And there's a good amount of pikes in there. So it's a little bit of pike and shot on our right flank here. And that buttresses that side nicely. I think we'll also just give them a big long line of cavalry. That way it's quasi shield and shock on both sides. It's just such a savage tactic to put cavalry in a shield wall and then a bunch of billmen and Volgiers behind them. Ultra effective. We're not going to stop doing it now. Now, how about that? Right? That's kind of nice. It pockets, sort of brackets in our troop. That is a skein, and you can use that with your cavalry. It's not maybe as tight a formation as a shield wall. Look how tight that is. But I'm going to try that on that right side. One of the ways you get better, of course, at anything in life is experimenting. So even at this stage with thousands of hours of Bannerlord being played, we're still experimenting, still trying to get better. Now, this is not good. We're at the very, very back of the map. It's good for reinforcements. They'll pop up basically right in the middle of battle. However, it means we have no ability to kite. And that obviously, against a juggernaut Sturgeon infantry force, makes me a bit nervous. All right, let's take a little assessment of what we got going on here. I didn't take a very close look at their army, although at this stage we know what to expect, right? They're going to have a monster infantry, very strong heavy cavalry still. For some reason, they have tons of banner knights. They don't have that many Vlandian cities, but for whatever reason, they have a lot of banner knights and, of course, just a monstrously powerful infantry. I was silent in some episode a while ago, and the guy was like, "You all right? You had a stroke, dude? You haven't talked for 10 seconds." I'm going to work on, a little bit more pauses and breaks and stuff like that. Maybe it gives your guys' brains a little break. This 5th division maybe is a little tightly packed. But everything else seems okay, and this is just the calm before the storm here, right? We've opened fire, of course. You got to be a little bit careful with your ammo here, but I've got to apply some pressure to this huge shield wall. And they're going to score some kills, right? The beauty of Bannerlord is that a shield wall is very effective at defending, but the game also has like a beautiful system of, you know, it's not like a perfect defense. Guys still get hit in the foot, or it sneaks over their shoulder and hits their neck or something like that. It's a really good system when it comes to arrows. Now, I think a lot of guys would like to see cavalry do better against archers, but I think the infantry and shield infantry and archer dynamic is excellent. Now, that's 3rd Division over here. I'm adjusting here because they moved their cavalry, but I'm also planning on slamming into the enemy flank with that 3rd Division, right? We're going to have to apply pressure beyond what these crossbow bolts are doing. In fact, you can see they're scoring. Oh, shit. That's a misclick. Anyways, we're going to have to do more damage than just our archers with this infantry line. You can see it's pretty handily surviving our crossbow bolts, hitting those big sturgeon shields. So let's get that 2nd and 3rd Division over here. We're going to just try to ram this right through the enemy's side, hopefully before they get to that 5th Archers Division. We don't want them just barreling into our archers. These guys are super delicate. If they come in fully healthy to that, it's just going to be goodbye archers. This is the time, right? They're sort of half wavering. In we come, the 2nd and the 3rd. They're passing up our square, so anytime they do that, and it's generally a good idea to charge from behind, right? Have those guys turn around, start attacking the sturgeons that are now behind them, and you get a bit of a sandwich effect. Now they're probably going to get mauled because the sturgeons just charged and focused on them, but it's better than them charging our archers, right? They're kind of moving up against our archers. The cavalry's in here knocking them around. And now it's just bloody, right? The tactics have all been done, and now you just kill shit and hope we have enough firepower here. Again, this square here, I'm going to keep squaring it and attacking. Anytime they get attacked, I'll probably square it, and then when they're ignored, you charge. I know that's way more micro than most guys want to do here, but obviously in a must-win battle, I'll micro the fuck out of it. I'll micro this till I fucking lose a finger. Must win. And it's a mess. The death spam does not look good. Come on, boys, fight. At least the 4th Division is clear. In fact, we can move them up to flank retreating enemy foes. Some of them are just standing there. I can't believe they're out of ammo already, but maybe. All right, there's no reinforcements coming up. Let's kill all these guys before they get out of here. Oh shit, they just turned. Naturally, they have elite archers. All tier 5 and 6. Shot in the face by a fiend champ. And we just got to focus here. This is still the vanguard. This infantry vanguard. And how many times have I talked about it, right? These sturgeons are so elite. It's such a great mod. And again, I warn you, if you use this in your campaign, you're probably going to experience a very unpleasant result. And if you use them on your side, if you play a sturgeon campaign with these guys, you're going to maul everything. I mean, I guess if you want it to be easier, if you have a hard time with vanilla Bannerlord, then this is a good mod for you to play as sturgeon. But my God, are they powerful. The fellow that was working on that, Isaac, I appreciate all the work he's done with me. He's basically been tinkering that mod as I've tested it. We've done custom battles and stuff like that. And you know, when it seemed like they were just a little bit weaker than I wanted, he's like, yeah, sure, I boosted them up, right? And we made him in this new badass form here. It'll be really interesting to see what Tail Worlds does. Of course, they have hinted that they're going to considerably redo Sturgia, as a lot of people I think would like to see. Still bloody here. We're dragging cavalry around, trying to clean up the archers they have left. We've backed up our archers here because if nothing else, I want to have concentrated fire. In fact, here, we're just going to charge, hold fire, and hammer an anvil with cavalry. I don't have a lot of options. These guys are out of ammo. The sturgeons are pouring over the hill. They're throwing javelins. We've got to get in here and try to destroy this big fucking group. Here come the cavalry. In you go, boy. Charge. Now, fortunately, these are no longer all of our engines, right? We have at least killed their vanguard, but we're still in for it here. This is a nasty battle. And this is how it's been, this whole campaign against the Sturgeons. They just, you know, they're a different kingdom. That's all there is to it. Menacing is the word I think of, right? Because their middle-level troops aren't bad. Everybody likes the Sturgeon soldier and stuff like that. The Variag is a pretty good unit. But their top-end units are just not great, right? The line breakers are mediocre. Oh, shit. Fucking got stabbed right in the face. Or horsted. On foot again. Fuck, I'm getting fucking zerged by the soldier brigand posse here. Alright, well, we've got a cav division of archers here ready to charge. And Baron York does look like fighting on foot, right? He's got a shield. He's got some athleticism. Fuck you guys. Why am I even blocking? Let's break out this two-hander and just start carving through here. Come on, guys. What a fucking bloody battle this is. That's close, too. This is one of those battles you just pray you don't hear the reinforcement horn. Now, me might get reinforcements, right? We definitely, we're in hometown territory here. I'm surprised, actually, we haven't had any Vlandians join us. It kind of fits the theme, though, that I've been talking about in this campaign. There's a whole lot of every man for himself going on here, and that very much feels like that in this battle. There's just no help coming. We left Acerai alone, and Galther got killed. Or not killed, at least, but he got captured. It'd be funny if we lose this battle. All three of the rivals in this campaign all suffer defeat within the same, half hour of gameplay. I think we've got it, though. The archers are starting to peel out of here. I think that's routing behavior. If they've got more reinforcements, we're going to have to reform our lines here, but I think we're okay. Just a handful of cavalry left here trying to score the killing blow. And relief, right? We've got a victory here. You guys probably noticed the power bar disappeared. I don't know how many more times I'll mention that. And maybe I'll mention it in every battle. It doesn't really matter. It's not like it makes your ears bleed or something like that. But we're going to continue to do that on a somewhat regular basis as we enjoy sort of keeping the suspense high for you fellas. The fact that these are played one shot, right? We're not save scumming for this campaign. We've got the death for all mod cranked, and we're back to the wall here, right? We are down to one castle. Now our castle garrison is injured. I mean, lots of death for the militia, because the militia fights in a battle like that, right? They're involved. That's part of the reason we had those troops at the end that were ghetto. But victory is victory, and not a single death here, right? We will take it. Absolutely, we will take it. Still had 250 troops, so we had a little bit left in the tank here. And come with us, you bitch-ass Sturgeons. I'll take some, let's see. As playing as Ryland, of course, we're taking all prisoners. As Baron York, we will limit ourselves to Aserai and mercenary types. Maybe militia, if it's high-end militia. I'll take the veteran militia. A massive amount of upgrades, and boy, this helps, right? This is one of the critical parts of Bannerlord. You've got to win battles so that you can upgrade, right? When you've got a whole bunch of recruits and squires, it's very much like confidence in life, right? They say confidence in life requires success. I mean, and that's one of the most difficult parts of life, right? Is you need confidence to have success. And in order to be successful, you got to be confident, right? This is the age-old catch-22. Some of you guys might be struggling with confidence, and if it makes you feel a little bit better, when I was younger, I didn't have a lot of confidence. It's one of those things that usually develops with age. But if you're struggling early in life, and things haven't gone well, or you just had a breakup or something like that, most of the time, friends, adversity is good for you. You will learn to deal with it. There'll be pain, right? You listen to that song by James Maynard Keenan from Pucifer that's called Mama Said, right? Life will humble you. You just dust yourself off and keep going, and eventually you'll have success and gain that confidence. I feel for you fellas, though, going through it. It can be difficult, right? Life is very difficult. Now, it looks like Ragnar got away. Ragnar leading that Sturgeon army. We're going to try to chase him down here. And then, you know, the decision time here. Do we siege or revolt? It makes sense, actually, that we would sort of consolidate our gains. And what I mean by that is get more troops, right? We don't have a very large army, tons of injuries, and you can be sure that most of our healthy troops at this stage are recruits, right? We have our best troops were all injured in that battle. Fortunately, we didn't suffer any companion deaths, but nevertheless, right, we're pretty ragged. Now look at this shit. This is amazing. This is how badass Ragnar is. He's fighting this whole army by himself. The motherfucker, he's scoring kills and shit. And that's because he's an elite character, right? This is another one of the companions, or at least the nemesis, oh shit, that we edited. And we got to get out of here. We can't get caught up in battle here because we'll be captured by the next force here. As this conveyor belt of sturgeons continues to pour our way here. And Ragnar did get captured there, but not without taking out 10 guys himself. You can picture him like in the Last of the Mohicans scene, just dropping everybody. Well, Oxhall is sieged, Varric is sieged, and it's pretty grim. You know, I hesitate to reach for, you know, that button that says break glass in case of emergency. But I think in this situation, it kind of makes sense, right? Alarie's going to get captured down here. I don't actually give a shit about that. That's the Northern Empire sieging him. Like, for example, if it was Northern Empire peace, I wouldn't even click that button. But I think under the circumstances here, you know, this is part of the game mechanics. We're staring down the gauge of a shotgun on our knees here. I think we'll just beg for peace here with the Sturgeons. They surprisingly don't want that much money. 530 tribute. If I were them, I would demand 50,000. Fucking 50,000, right? To quote Joe Pesci from Casino. I said fucking 50,000. Go get it. Fuckers take it, but they won't want to give it back. If you guys have never seen Casino, it's a great flick. And this guy here, he doesn't have any super notable leaders, but it's interesting, right? We've rarely had peace with the Sturgeons, and so it's sort of our chance to I don't want to say give a handshake or whatever, but to tip our cap as they go by us in the road here. We're paying them tribute. And there's historical analogs to that as well. Of course, many of the Viking invasions into England, into the northern parts of Europe in the 10th, 11th century, they demanded silver, right? And they demanded enormous amounts of silver. They basically said, look, you know, we won't sack Paris. We won't do this if you just give us 4 fucking boats completely full to the brim of silver, right? They demanded gigantic ransoms, kind of like the Spanish with the Incas and stuff like that. So a little bit of peace here. Maybe some of you guys think that's anticlimactic, but it is what it is. We're begging here to try to survive in this campaign. And here's one of the nemesis characters right here. Now he says he's glad to see us. I don't know why that is. Maybe his clan has some positive relations with us. We're terrified to see you, dude. Glaron heavy-handed. This guy, this gnarly sturgeon / Norse force. Now they've got upgraded armor. Oh shit! And here's the other kingdom. I was worried about the Northern Empire because, of course, they just captured Aserai and took Oxhall. So Oxhall's down, and this is Aserai now asking for peace. He's in prison. He's sending out messages saying, man, you guys need to ransom me. And Baron York is like, fuck no. And it's inevitable here that he's going to vote for peace. So I think we'll just roll along with this as well. A little bit of a breather for us in this campaign here, as even Prince Ingalther, also in prison, is begging for peace. So we get a little bit of a break here. Now we're still at war with the Acerai. So this campaign is hardly in a you know, like a boring pacifist stage, but we are going to sort of consolidate our losses here. I know usually you say consolidate your victory. This is the other way around. We lost Revolt, we lost Oxhall, we're down to Tirby Castle, we lost Calais Castle, but we're going to sort of go around and take inventory of what we have here. And of course, it's war against the Aserai. It's not like we just have endless time to prepare. They will be coming. I don't know who they're at war with, but probably doesn't matter, right? These enemy kingdoms have monstrous armies, so no rest for the weary here. Undoubtedly, there's going to be battle with the Aserai, and as I often do in this case, especially with a little autosave here, we'll probably do a little bit of editing, just so you guys can avoid listening to me ramble for the next half hour. fighting like fucking absolute wolves. A fucking ram is destroyed. And, you know, this is one of those situations I was like barely narrating, but now we're in a fucking fight for our lives here. They've got the gatehouse fucking totally swarmed. What do we have? Tell me there's a catapult up here we can use. Yeah, there is, but it's not the kind I want. We want fire catapults. Of course, these are the fucks that destroyed our ram. Fuck you guys. Cost you your arm. I'm gonna eat your liver for fucking making Baron York look bad, and we're at a real risk of suffering major casualties in this siege. This fucker over there is sieging. Let's see if we can drill him with his own siege weapon. Catch this, you fucker. Drilled him right in the head. Baron York does his tricep workouts, right? He does his tricep extensions. He can chuck it all the way over there. I can't quite hit that guy. But we gotta figure this out here. I got a few javelins for you, bud, right in the face. Because these guys are shelling us. We only have the ladder access, right? When they destroyed our ram, you got two choices. You can back out, or you can try to push through. And considering that we've got so many troops already injured here, we're a little bit desperate for time in this campaign. I don't have the influence to maintain a huge army. We're just going to try to bull our way through this shit. And this is nasty. They are defending this about as well as the AI can. They've got the ladders blocked up on both sides, basically like they've been watching our channel. They've got hordes of militia, and they're cycling back and forth. Like, it's really intelligent. They're sort of half menacing us here at the ladders so that we can't really get an established force up here. They're holding these ladders like bulldogs. Look at these guys. Meanwhile, they have 100 whatever crossbows firing flaming bolts. It's virtually what we teach on the channel here. Meanwhile, they're flaming us with catapults. And I can't get across because the gatehouse has a huge horde of elite troops. Of course, I can't see. They take advantage of me here. I can't kill anything. They're all blocking like fucking Jet Li. Fuck you guys. This is brutal. And our random soundtrack a lot of times has amazing sort of fortuitousness. Here it plays some nice, soft, slow dance music as we fight for our lives inside this castle. It's kind of funny, but it is what it is, right? I'm not going to exit out and change the music right in the middle of this chaotic moment here. I mean, this is a complete dogfight. They're bringing up more palace guards here. They just started to rout. At least some of them have finally done taking a beating here. And we do have half a health bar, but it's hardly over yet, right? That guy got blasted. Good job on that guy. And this is the problem. I can't get to the other side where the rest of our troops are. In fact, they straight pushed me out of the gatehouse. Now I got militia calling me a dog. This is fun to watch, actually. Like, at one point it's frustrating, right? Because they're playing really well, and we just have not had a lot of victory lately, right? We're kind of in need of a victory here. And the AI is just fucking fighting like they've been a subscriber to Tactical Enlightenment this month. Ooh, fuckers. We're just going to start flaming everything here, right? Wazuban has gotten enraged before where he just flamed everybody. Well, that's Baron York here is just like collateral fucking damage to my ass, right? Let's blow some people up here. Have some third-degree burns. All you guys can eat fire. But when you don't have a ram and you just have ladders and they have archers in the courtyard, very, very difficult to overcome that kind of a situation. Now, their archers are making mistakes here by moving. I don't know why they're moving. Maybe it's just the AI trying to figure out, well, we need to guard the ladder here. They are coming up to try to... They're trying to protect that door, right? I'm trying to open the door so we can get the rest of our army in here. And they are just shooting and defending like wolves. Now, you don't want to get trapped in here, but I got to get these troops through the front door. They still have a lot of archers and infantry there. Get in here. The militia posse is coming up. You guys talk about servitude. These militia here that are being disloyal to Vlandia, you guys are dead men, right? And you're going to cut some arms off here, behead your friends here, off with your head. And we're going to do some draw and quartering here, right? We're attaching some limbs to horses after this battle here. We're getting medieval on these militia. Fighting for the Aserai, you scum, right? Baron York is enraged. I'm actually in a really good mood here, but my character, we're going to roleplay a little bit. This guy is seeing red as these formerly loyal Vlandian forces fight us to the death. I mean, they are just fighting like wolves. Now, Baron York is just gone crazy in this battle. I must have 80 kills, 100 kills. Oh, you fucker, hiding in the gatehouse. Get troops in here, man. This is unreal. They just won't give up. Kill these boys. Oh, there goes your leg, dude. Right in the fire. Barbecued calf. These militia, they're up on the walls and shit. I mean, it's amazing. This is almost like the AI is watching our channel. It's wild. A little hint maybe at what we're going to see with generative AI. But Baron York is unleashed, and it's just a death factory. Baron York is a beast. I mean, just cut apart half that army by himself. Now let's give him some some javelins right in the back, right in the spine. Have some of that right in the neck. That'd be so painful to get a big sharpened stick thrown into your larynx. I'd volunteer if Tailworlds needs some sound effect guys for their next, their next injury and death. Bannerlord 3. I'm all about doing it. I just think they're hilarious sounds. All right, Baron York, 115 kills out of our 245 that the army got. Baron York got 2/3 of the kills within our own army, so he virtually carried that siege on his own, and we're going to fight this part here too. I can't afford a loss. We almost had a loss here recently. I've never seen it before. I've never lost myself, but I've seen on Reddit, the guys get captured too. I guess if you lose this, your whole army is captured, so we're not having that shit happen here. That might be something I save scum for. We got 500 troops, and we get captured because our 20 or whatever 30 here. Holy shit! This is like the Red Wedding, right? They got like crossbowmen all over the balconies just scorching us here, and I just realized I have like no health. You fuckers, these fucking Vlandians, man. We're gonna cut you guys down. Your wives are all gonna get turned into serving ladies for us. They'll definitely be bringing Baron York warm towels and shit like that for your insolent treason here. Unbelievable. Look at dead men. I'm down to no health, 0. Try not to get killed here at the very end. But a first positive step here. Now, we're not going to get voted this castle. That guy died and then slumped over the railing. This game is brilliant, man. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. Look at that shit. Guy's all slumped. Look at this guy. He's holding out. One dude held up his little sword. And man, just no easy victories here, right? It's just never easy in this campaign. Even the keep take was like, I mean, we didn't lose or get close to losing, but that was like pulling teeth, man. Every step along the way here has just been savage. But that's the way we like it, right? When things are too easy in life, right, it becomes a little bit boring, right? No boring battles in this campaign, at least not recently, right? I'm sure at some point or other we'll have some success. There'll be some boring episodes, or at least boring battles, and I'll do my best for you fellas to try to edit out the boring battles. I think we're gonna keep all of this last hour or so of play. That siege, my narration wasn't terrific, but it picked up once I realized we were in trouble there, so I'll do a little bit of editing maybe between these battles here, and on we go here. Now, Baron York gained the sadistic trait. I don't know how. Maybe it's because he was cutting legs off, and maybe the game is listening to me, right? It's learning from our channel, and evidently now Baron York is sadistic because I was talking about, turning all their wives into serving ladies and drawing and quartering all these treasonous villagers. Who knows? Maybe ChatGPT has enhanced the game somehow. Of course, that's what they're referring to. They're referring to the snowball effect, right? So we're going to get a little snowball effect going on here. We'll crack a soda as we get a little bit more focused on this campaign as things get difficult, right? What's the old saying, right? The olden guys used to use, when the going gets tough, the tough get going, right? That's what we got to do here. The problem is that all of these armies have unbelievably weak troops, just recruits, half of their forces, squires, footmen, and recruits, and that's a function of losing, right? Right now, the enemy is experiencing the snowball effect. Now, here's one lord that has a really good army. Of course, we're not about to add in Galther, the slime, but it's grim, right? What else can you say, right? We are adding to our force here at the cost of a lot of influence, a bunch of very bad armies. And potentially facing juggernaut Aserai forces. So I'm wondering, if they're going to take the back door here and go for Hongard or Provend or something like that. It's the only country we're at war with, the only kingdom we're at war with here. There's a huge militia at Provend. They have a lot of resources there. That's basically the capital of Vlandia. And of course, we're not getting any castles. In fact, our rival gets the castle here. It's perfect for the script I'm writing for this campaign. It seems like a lot of things have magically fallen into place, including in Galther, this slime taking our castle. And we've got Acerai forces here to attack that are just lurking outside Talavel Castle, probably waiting to ambush. Look at, they're getting all skittish now that we're coming in. I didn't think so, bitches. Come get some. Baron York is in town. Now, what's happening here? They're running. There's a fog. Oh, shit. Okay, what's going on here? 1, 2, 1,200, 1,500, 1,400. There's a heavy fog here. I don't really want to fight in the fog, and it's nighttime too. So, let's see. Our army's beat up, of course. We just had that very bloody siege, and we've got 1,000 troops, but probably some of our higher end troops are injured. Although now, 80 troops injured. That's not too bad. Let's see if there's enough daylight here to fight. 1,200. I don't, you can back out of battle, and especially for your guys' sake, if there's not enough light here, all we'll do is we'll just back out. We outnumber this force. We should be able to smash it. There's a little bit of light kind of on the mountaintops there. I think that's going to function. I think this will just have to do. So we'll split our units here and set our soda aside here. The soda will have to wait because we got another significant battle in this campaign. I say significant because you just never know who's going to join, right? These other Aserai forces, even though they ran on the campaign map, but the way the reinforcement system is built, there's a decent chance they'll join. Look at the power bar, right? The enemy, in fact, I'll just make a mental note. This will be the last time you see the power bar, right? The enemy is evidently, well, not evidently. We know they have better troops than us, right? Our armies are weak. That's the bottom line. So we've got our work cut out for us in this battle. We're going to take the high ground, of course. The enemy the AI frequently gives you the high ground, which is a mistake. We'll take it. We'll pound downhill with our archers. They're circling us, of course, with Aserai Vanguard Ferris, and it just said they joined the battle as an enemy. So here we go, right? Every single battle in this campaign, you just buckle up. I know I say that a lot, but you just never know what's going to happen. Armies outside of our view can join, right? So you play these as if you're up against twice the number that you're actually up against, and sometimes it peters out, and other times it's very gnarly. And we're hoping, we're hoping for gnarly for your guys' sake. There's just enough light. It's kind of shaded on part of the battlefield, and there's fucking dust being kicked up by all the horse archers here. Fuckers. These guys, of course, are circling us. The Acerai are nasty. I've had a couple guys talk about it, a couple very experienced Bannerlord players. Because they use ranged weapons so well, the AI in particular, they just play the Acerai better than any of the other kingdoms. Now look at this shit. They have 200 archers in a gigantic square. You just never see that with the AI. So Baron York likes to throw javelins right into the back of guys sitting in a square, right? Baron York's happy. He's like, have a javelin, you master archer. Pound on these guys a little bit, but it's a good square. There's a lot of shields in there. It's not the worst strategy if they're just trying to move to formation. We're going to try to attack them. We are shooting them pretty good from uphill. I've only got half a health bar, and I just looked down, and somehow my horse is already injured. And I'm looking at my horse here. I don't have any armor on this horse, so we got to fix that. I don't know how that happened. We might have, actually, I have no idea what happened. Maybe a horse died, and it didn't take long at all. Armored horses, or unarmored horses on this battlefield with all these projectiles was not going to last. So we need a new mount already. But we're going to get some crossbows set up here. Baron York is he's no shrinking daisy. He'll fight on foot as I get slugged around here by the enemy cavalry. It's all right. We're doing all right here. We're feeling pretty good. It's a beautiful scene. We have this incredible light from this sunrise here, and I'm starting to feel uncomfortable in this battle here. They've got a lot of high-end troops. I don't have a horse, so I can't really see what's going on. And information, you know, as you as the commander out there, you guys all know this. That's the most important thing, right? You can't make good decisions unless you can see what the enemy's doing and where. And right now, of course, I'm pretty blind. I got fucking horse blood splattering all over me and horses dying everywhere. It is carnage. Just trying to hold a line here to protect our crossbow while they move up. We've got some shock troops here. I'm feeling good about our position, and our infantry's in a square because I don't think we can attack that without support. That huge glob of troops there. So I'm just kind of using our infantry there as bait, buy us a little bit of attention here while our archers work, while our crossbow, you know, pound them with bolts from this hillside. They're not really shooting at us very much, although you definitely see some, you know, tasers coming through the. I lose my train of thought here. I've got fucking a posse chasing me. We're getting shot, nevertheless, but I think we have the archer advantage here. Now, we've got this line here, shock troops and cavalry, and I'm just going to continue to use that to sort of buffer our right flank, right? It's very important here so we don't get stampeded with cavalry, that we have the... Oh, shit. I almost got cut in half while I was narrating there. So we don't get stampeded here by all these Aserai Vanguard Pharaohs. And every once in a while you'll see me charge like this, and that's basically when I feel like there's a whole bunch of Aserai Vanguard Pharaohs kind of immersed in us. And you know what there are? There's 366 archers in front of us. Let's go. Let's bore into these guys. Move the third corps forward. Infantry charge. Crossbow that are out of ammo can charge. And we need to make some hay here. Get in there, cavalrymen. Where the fuck are you? Here we go. All right, let's get rid of this shield. We can move a lot faster. It's time to cut down some of this militia. And we have a gnarly battle on our hands here. Every battle in this campaign feels a little bit more epic. I'm being chased by a bunch of militia. The units parry more. You know, it just feels more difficult, and that's fucking sweet. Got guys wailing away on both sides. Fucking Palace Guards. Eat shit, Palace Guards. Alright, let's move up this hill a little bit. My force got seriously devastated there. I'm not sure what's happening with the rest of the Vlandian units. Of course, we're here with about 1,000 other Vlandians. Unfortunately, I don't have any control over those units. We're just trying to do our very best to augment them. But I gotta get out of here. I'm getting chased by high-end infantry. I still don't have a horse. So we got to call, let's split the third and put them in the 8th. And this is a good way to get a horse. Instead of dismounting 100 guys, I'm going to dismount 19. Block them here with the 2nd. We'll get the cavalry corps up there in a moment, but I got to get on a horse here, try to figure out what's going on. Frankly, we're kiting. I need reinforcements to get up here, and the enemy's got a head of steam. Fucker. Okay, are you guys my horse? Get over here. I can't have them get off their horse right here. We're being fucking actively attacked. Give me a fucking break here. I'm just trying to get a horse so I can kill you. It's a bunch of militia. What the fuck is this? Vlandian militia spearmen. You know what that is? So it's simulating that the castle is sallied out. These are our fucking units. And what I mean by that is Vlandian units. We've got a lot of troops coming. Let's kite back to them. Look at all those units coming in the foreground there. That must be... I don't... Maybe we got reinforcements and I didn't see it. If we got reinforcements, I didn't see it. I saw them get an army. Just spiked one of their lords right in the face. Get up here. We've got... actually, I got a good amount of troops. I've got about 230 troops here. I'm going to split these infantry lines. I wish I had more crossbow. Of course, Baron York wants all cavalry. We continue to role play with that element, and you're going to see him make armies that are cavalry heavy, right? At least his own army, and if we're ever a kingdom, his companion armies. Or just as a vassal, of course, you can make your own companion armies. We'll probably be doing that more and more here. Death spam is good, right? That usually happens when you kite. There's an initial flush of red as the enemy pursues, but then all of a sudden your troops are consolidated. It's like paying off credit card, right? It pays off in the long run here, just like mowing down a bunch of militia crossbow. Baron York trampling the militia. He's very happy to trample militia. Holy shit, we lose another horse here. I gotta get an armored horse, man. After this battle, fellas, remind me, get an armored horse. I got just random guys coming up to me like they want the bounty. Get the fuck off of me. just trying to get a horse in command here. This has been a crazy battle already. All right, let's move this infantry right into the face of all these militia crossbow. They all have flaming crossbow bolts. It's a spectacular scene with the sunlight and the fucking dust flying everywhere, flaming arrows. You can get these battles that are like half daylight, you know, the transitional period between obviously night and day, and you'll get flaming arrows still. It's quite the effect. Now we're shoving in here with weaker troops. I hope we have more besides that, but that might be it. So we're going to flank. We can get a flanking division to the enemy's left. We can get crossbow up this hill here and really start to turn this battle. We got some cavalry here. I should finally be able to get back on horse. The death spam looks great. Like I said, you do that consolidating pull back there, kiting to your reinforcements, and usually good results. Now the enemy looks like they have just melted here. It looks like there's some forces on the far hills over there, and we're just plowing a hole through the center of the map here. We'll see. They might be getting reinforcements too. With the reinforcement system, it doesn't tell you. And this part I like. It's like a fog of war. You can't really see. Oh, there we go. You could sort of see the troops, but I don't think it's always accurate. It said like 88 and 100. God, the light is so beautiful. Thank you, Time Pass mod. Sometimes, you know, it says they have 188 and shit like that, and they have way more than that because the reinforcement system doesn't really jive real well with the regular system, at least when it comes to the numbers. And I'm okay with that, right? Because you talk about, I talk about it all the time, the fog of war, right? It's too much of the obviously known to a certainty in Bannerlord. You know exactly how many infantrymen, and they have 7 Oathsworn and 19 Falksmen. You should never be able to know that before a battle. It's not like they give you their roster before you have a battle. Oh, here's exactly what we have today. I'm submitting our roster for Bannerlord's official battle today. All right, let's move up here. We got archers on the enemy's flank. These are high-end troops. This is disconcerting. These have to be reinforcements. There's no way they have tier 5 units still in this battle. I have almost no health here. I still can't get a horse. I've been calling a cavalry division to me for like 10 minutes. I don't know where they are or if they're on the other side of the world or what. But fuck it, right? Sometimes you just got to get in here and fight hand-to-hand. I've tried to dismount cavalry, and I think what I'm doing is I'm dismounting them before they get near me. Oh, shit. Almost got killed right there. A veteran Falksman had me dialed in. And these are enemy troops? Oh, shit, I couldn't tell because they're coming from a strange angle. I'm, like, surrounded here by enemy troops. I've got cavalry, though. We're just going to chase these guys. Give me your fucking horse. Not asking, telling you, fucking squire. Get the fuck off. All right, let's try to fucking finish this battle off here. We're charging through the middle. We've got lots of troops. They're not very good troops, but they're excited, though, with that immersive battlefield, right? They're all roaring. We're fighting peasants, it looks like. I see a whole lot of peasants on the other side, although I guess those were Vlandian units. Now, they got some peasants, too. It's the Gunrick banner. We've got some aid here. All right, we've got more reinforcements straight to the jugular. Let's keep these... Oh, shit. That was almost death there, too. I've had so many close calls. Let's keep that archer division up on that hill. We're going to pound the middle with 1 infantry division. We can get a support division up there as well. I'm starting to run thin, of course, because these are weak troops we're sending in. They're melting. These guys are just insta-dying on that line. And it might be that the enemy has so much higher level troops that we're having a hard time puncturing their lines. I mean, ordinarily, if you have even numbers, your infantry just crushes the enemy, but not when you have a bunch of squires and footmen. And they do. They have a strong line. They've got archers shooting up in here. I'm feeling uncomfortable again. We've got tons of troops here, but man, look at our whole squad was recruits. The whole squad was fucking Vlandian recruits. And there are still forces coming, so it's more of the unknown here with this amazing reinforcement system. And it really seems to produce amazing battle after amazing battle. I mean, you got to have a system to be able to run it with these kind of graphics here. But this is just amazing to have these back and forth unknown. I'm literally pulling my 100 guys up the hill here, and just we'll see what happens, right? We'll see if the enemy... our forces there, I'm kind of torn in 2 places here. We've got some forces coming from way back in the valley there. I can see their little orbs glowing. But I feel bad not supporting these troops in the valley here. It looks like we've got a couple hundred troops in there. I kind of want to help. And it might be the final press, right? I don't know. It's hard to tell. It's extraordinarily opaque in this situation how many troops the enemy has. I really don't know what I'm fighting. And of course, with that power bar, neither do you, right? I don't look up at it. I'm too busy focused on right to the head. Killing Banner Knights. Yeah, we have a raggedy little division here. I mean, I guess we can square them. About the only thing you can do with recruits is you can find a little group of trees and square them in it. Because the enemy will hit the trees, they'll swing their little sickles, their little scythes and sickles, and they'll do a decent job here. But we've got troops charging in the forest. And I think the enemy has a bunch of elite heavy cavalry. If that's the case, we are fucked. Let's get this archer division over here. I mean, a square is fine, but it's not going to hold up against hundreds of elite cavalry. Tell me they don't have hundreds of elite cavalry left. They've got a bunch of stragglers over here just sort of sniping our units, cutting dudes down left and right. Of course, that's deadly for low-level units. They just have no protection, right? The AI is not very good with cavalry, but it will fuck up individual units in the open field, right? It'll cut you down, and it'll cut down little recruits, and our forces are fucking melting here. I'm charging with guys with sticks. And I don't know, maybe they have 100? I don't know if we can take out 100 with our raggedy force. Reinforcements are still coming up. I still see guys trickling in. But I don't see, it's not like I see Banner Knights and Sergeant Crossbow. What I see is I see fucking recruits and dudes with sledgehammers. I'm laughing because it's such a David versus Goliath situation. And I've had no health for like 10 minutes. But God, if we could win this battle, this would be so epic. Get up here, boys. Let's just fucking fly in here. Fuck it, right? Let's fucking no guts, no glory. It's me against 100 cavalry. I have no support. Yeah, you just stand there like a dipshit, you stupid asshole. 214 cavalry. If that's all they have, maybe we got a shot here. God, we got to get these guys coordinated, though. Oh, shit, never mind. They've got a bunch of infantry and archers that just poured out of the woods. Fuck. I can't tell how many troops we have, but it sure doesn't look like it's enough. The whole battlefield is already littered with the dead. I mean, it's just fucking unbelievable. The chaos in this battle, the death and the chaos here. Just, you know, yeah, that is not a good sign. Dude's fucking running. Fuck it. Baron York doesn't run. At least in this situation, he's not going to run. I don't think we could get away. There's a bunch of smaller armies that were right next to Zuwaira. Fuck it. We fight. We're going to get dropped, but at least we're going to kill some bitches on the way out. Shit, I hope he didn't die. He made it sound like he died. And this fucking battle is over, and we are captured again. Man. That is a lot of Aserai, too. 1,400. Wait a minute. Oh, we only killed 1,600 with our 2,000? Over 2,000? So we got crushed. Our army did pretty well, but the rest of the... And we, you know, I've been talking about it all episode, all last 2 hours. We are fighting with Vlandian recruits and footmen against elite Vanguard Ferris divisions and high-end Vlandian, or high-end Aserai Sturgeon Lords. This is not going to work. We've got to figure something else here. Otherwise, it's into dungeon again here. We are tossed into a dungeon yet again. There's 1, 2, at least 3 armies here. Durold army. Zuwaira army. Yikes. So, let's see. Trying to think if we wrap this episode up here. Let's see. You know, a lot of guys on the channel, you know, a lot of guys want to see sort of a rebuild. I'm not sure we'll do a full rebuild here, but I think we won't wrap this episode up quite yet. Situated here. I got my soda here. Having a soda, it always feels nicer to sit in prison when you got a soda. And we'll just, you know, we'll do a 5 or 10 minute recovery process here at the end of this episode. Guys want to see this? I don't think there's a lot to be seen here. It's not going to be that exciting. We're going to sit in prison for a few days, and then of course it's dodge all the bandits, recruit as many troops as you can, and you know what we got to do? We got to get back to Tirby Castle as fast as possible. We're sending pigeons to the wife. Recruit every single soldier you possibly can. There's a huge vanguard of Vanguard Ferris, no pun intended, pouring into the frontiers here. There's a feeble little army forming. Roman, the guy looks like a dipshit. He's got a terrible beard. We're just going to sip our soda in prison here. You guys will just have to deal with me drinking a soda once in a while, right? We're not going to burp in your ears or anything like that. But that was an exhausting battle. It made me thirsty. And more armies are pouring in. We're going to have to beg for peace here, too. I don't know if we can afford it. We're broke. We're out of influence. We're at 1% health. And full circle, right? Episode, I don't know what it was, but in the mid-20s, we had a disastrous stretch. But, you know, we started to recover. Look at Roman got killed. 2 nobles got killed and captured. So they just made that army. Roman has died in battle. Look at this shit. Pravend is under siege. Verexend is under siege. This must be what it feels like to be on the other side of our campaigns or your campaigns, right? Just get your shit pushed in so hard. The enemy just blows across your frontier, captures all your lords. They're raiding all our villages, sieging Verexend. Pravend is the capital. And all the way at the bottom there, look at that. Wazuban is winning tournaments. They don't even need the old guy, right? He's not even old, actually, but they don't need him. He's just sitting, winning tournaments in Ortesia while his Aserai forces just rampage across the map. Of course, he's not the Sultan officially, but we've talked about that we've had a cutscene explaining that. Basically, Guzid is his lieutenant, right? Wazuban is the mastermind behind this Aserai invasion. Now Hongard is being besieged. How many armies do they have? This is amazing. We're making another army here as I just rot in prison. And here we go. We had a chance to break free and escape from the settlement. So let's do this shit here. Let's do a little dodging. This isn't going to be that exciting. I don't know. Maybe I'm wasting my time showing you fellas this. But well, this would be safer to go this way, but you know what? I'm not going to be able to recruit any troops. We've got all these handicaps. Obviously, we're making this campaign hell mode, right? You would just go recruit a whole bunch of highborn warriors, you know, and whatnot, and hide in the areas where there are peace and come back with 100 Fiend champs and shoot all those Aserai Vanguard Ferris off their horse. We're not doing that, right? Baron York is a nationalist. He's a racist, right? See, this is why you don't want to be racist. You lose in Bannerlord, right? The non-racists are winning. They got all the diversity over there. Meanwhile, we got this all Vlandian army, and we're getting our shit pushed in. Now, there's another army here. We're going by chaos and carnage here. This feels like a death tour of our kingdom here. There's active villages being raided. There's huge armies just pummeling our capital here, and there's very little Vlandian resistance. I mean, there's a bunch of smaller armies. You know what it's going on though, right? They all have recruits, and that is the StrengthenAI system. And of course, they're going to the villages and taking all the recruits. That's why I can't get any. The StrengthenAI system gives you free troops, but it gives you the lowest level troops, right? So the guys out there still tinkering with the settings, make sure they're getting troop XP every day. That way their troops are upgrading, right? Otherwise you'll fight battles with 900 sturgeon recruits and whatnot. You want to give them EXP, that way they level up. So unfortunately our armies here just haven't had time to level up, right? We're getting captured, it seems like once a week, twice a week, something like that. They just took Tirby Castle instantly. And it's pretty dire here. Now, I can't even raid these villages. Right? I'd love to raid these villages and tell them, give me all your sons, right? But we're at peace with the sturgeons, so we're reduced to just going around town and 3 guys here and 7 there. Now, we're going to empty the garrison here at Tirby Castle. This is one of those situations where nobody gets to stay in the castle. And you know, we don't have the luxury of that, right? All hands on deck. There's 1,000 analogies in wartime for stuff like this. What was that? Make peace. We might make peace. I might click that. It would cost us a lot of money, and we're losing money already. But we've got 200,000, and what? We gained the deceitful trait. This is surreal, fellas. I'm not doing this. Baron York is going around acquiring these traits that I've never seen before, or rarely seen before with the companion or with the character. It's wild. He's sadistic and deceitful. It's amazing. It really is like my game is listening to to the script. And I think we're just going to do this. In fact, I have no choice. We're just abstain here. The nobles want peace. We're now at peace with everybody. So that's actually the perfect spot to wrap up this episode here, right? We're going to get a little break period. It's hard to know what'll break the peace. Sometimes kingdoms come to finish you off, right? And if that's the case, of course, it's all hands on deck. We do have maybe 150 decent troops here, some billmen. We're going to do a bunch of upgrades. We're going to use this peace, right, to assemble the best possible army we can. And then it'll be on to the next stage, right? Which, who knows what that's going to be. We don't have a lot of resources left here. Our castle might be our last, our last stand. We might be trying literally to defend against 4,000 or 5,000 in Tirby Castle, which is not a good situation to be in. So we're going to wrap up this episode here. It's been a gnarly ride, of course. A lot of these settings we've inflicted on ourselves, but frankly, I'm thrilled about this situation, right? Anybody who's a tactician, a strategically minded person, loves a very difficult problem, and this is a very difficult problem. So, of course, if you want to join us for this journey, you want to subscribe, if you fellas haven't already, hit notification. That way you guys know when new episodes come out. And then with all that said, you can leave comments and criticism, all that kind of good stuff. And with all that said, fellas, I will see you friends next time.